Welcome to the second part of the poem Crossing the Bar by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Students, if you remember that in the last video we studied the first three stanzas of the poem. And before moving to the last stanza, let's take a recap of this poem, what we have studied in the three poems. In the poem, what is there? This poem was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson when he was 80 years old, and he 3 years before he died. And what he does, he uses the metaphor of a voyage to the final journey, and that is the journey from life to death. And he hopes that his final journey, that means what is that final journey? That after his death, that journey should be calm and secure, and there he hopes that he will be able to see his God face to face. Okay, so he considers death, it's not a heartbreak or a tragedy, rather he takes it as a hope. In the first paragraph you studied that the poet or the speaker points out at the readiness to embark on a journey of no return. The poet, that his earthly stay has come to an fag end as death seems to approach fast. I told you that he wrote this poem 3 years before he died, and he was 80 years old. He was recovering from a severe illness, so he thought that his end is about to come. So he warns there, and so he warns everyone there that there should be no mourning when he is gone. Nobody should cry, nobody should show the grief and all. This is what he expresses in the first paragraph. And then in the second stanza, what does he says that? He says that when his journey starts, when the ship is about to cross the sandbar, there the tide should be so full that his transition from this earth should be smooth and peaceful. Okay, and then the last two lines of the second stanza, what does he says that the speaker, he suggests that the speaker's soul returning to eternity just as the tide are returned to the depths of the ocean. In the last video we studied about the third paragraph. What we studied that this third paragraph, this third stanza is parallel to the first one. That why? Because the same paragraph, this stanza also intends on the earthly departure of the speaker, that is the sadness of farewell, and it is synonymous to the mourning of the bar in the first stanza there. Okay, so he says that twilight and evening bell, as I told you earlier, that these are the metaphors for the advanced age and impending death. Okay, now we come to the last stanza of the poem. For though from out our bourne of time and place, the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. Now, what the poet hopes here, the speaker hopes here, that when he leaves earth, that means after his death, his journey through death may be far. No one knows what happens after death. We all know that our soul leaves our body and it moves towards its new journey, that it goes and meets to God. So we don't know how much time does it take. So he says the same thing, the speaker says that the journey through death may be far, but his pilot, since he is talking about see, the imagery is used here, the speaker has used the imageries. In the beginning he says that it is his journey through a ship. Okay, so same thing here, he says that when my ship will cross the sandbar, it will start sailing into the ocean. So there he wishes to meet his pilot face to face which will make the journey worthwhile. Why the word pilot is used? P is capital here. See here. Pilot is used for Almighty God. Okay, so what does the pilot do? If you can see, look into the first picture towards the right of your screen, that the wheel is there. So what is that wheel? The way the God steers the wheel. So same way, okay, same way my God, my pilot, he will take me through the troubled waters in and out of the harbor. So, in detail, what we come to know about this last stanza? In the last stanza, the speaker points out the significance of his journey. He is confident that after crossing the sandbar that separates the harbor and the sea, this journey would lead him. Where will this journey take him? Far beyond the limits of time and place. See, students, still we are alive. Okay, we are bound with time and all. Okay, once we die, okay, the soul is not bound with time and place. So this is what he says, that once my new beginning will start, that is his journey after death will start, it will lead him, it will take him far beyond the limits of time and place, where what he will see the third line, he says that where he would be able to see his pilot, the Almighty God, face to face. The capitalization of P, I told you, what does it equates? It equates the pilot with God. Means why does he uses pilot here? That because God is in the guise, Guise, guise of a qualified mariner who will steer his ship and take him away from the troubled waters in and out of the harbor. Okay, so here the speaker is hoping, he hopes that to see the pilot after he has crossed the bar. Tennyson himself has explained this by saying that the pilot had been aboard all along, identifying him as that divine and unseen who is always guiding us. Clear, students? Now, what does it says that the poet, it's in he is what does the poet thinks towards the end of it? What does he says that? So we can say that in this case, we conclude from here? We conclude that our speaker has grown wise enough to know that death is not the end but a beginning. The speaker's departure from life isn't really a departure at all. He is leaving the world to which he never really belonged and is finally returning to the perfect abode. The soul's, okay, not the physical body, the soul's true home is not the bourne of time and place, but rather the open ocean beyond the bar. Right? Now, the explanation, I hope you must have understood this explanation. Now, if we look at the form and the language of this poem, what's there in it? It has 4 stanzas, 4 lines each. Clear? Now, each stanza has the alternating rhymes. And so if we see the alternating rhymes and if we come to the entire rhyming scheme of the poem, then it would come to A, B, then second stanza C, D, third stanza if you see E, F, Fourth stanza, G-A-G-A. And what type of a poem? It is written as an elegy, Elegy, as a sad poem, okay? Utilizing an extended metaphor of a sailor crossing the sandbar between the tidal area and the sea to represent a human being passing from life to existence beyond death. Okay, now comes the language. What type of a language the speaker has used? He has used the very simple language. Okay, most of the words are very common and are monosyllabic. Juicy, star, call, home, all are monosyllabic. If you look at your poem once again, my dear students, you will see that repeatedly one word has been used by the poet. And can you guess what is that word? Okay, that word is when. So, why the poet has repeated that word? He wants to make it clear that the event which he is discussing is firmly placed in the future. They have not yet happened. Clear? When means the event which he is discussing right in this poem is firmly placed in the future. It will happen. It hasn't happened yet. Okay, so what we can conclude from it? What is the tone of this poem? We can say that the tone of the poem is hope and anticipation as the speaker placidly intends to cross the bar of life. Okay. Now, this is just the simple explanation of it. So, now before ending, we should discuss some theme of the poem. What themes we take out from the poem? We can say that one of the theme can be immortality of soul. Okay, soul is immortal, है ना? So, how can we talk about the immortality of soul? This poem, Crossing the Bar, drives home the idea. What idea does it give? That the soul of man is immortal and imperishable. Okay. Now, death is not the end of life. Death is a door to another life. Okay. Like a fun house mirror, death shows us our living fears. And birth and death are the bookends of our life. Living towards death in time gives one's life a direction and framework within which to understand the changes that life brings. If we ignore death, what happens? It leaves us with a false sense of life's permanence and perhaps encourages us to lose ourselves in the minutiae of daily life. Okay, this is the first theme, one of the theme we can say, immortality of soul. Okay, then second theme can be unflinching faith in God. You see the fourth paragraph, fourth stanza, the poet has the complete faith in Almighty. That's why he says that I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. Now, what do we conclude from this poem, Unflinching Faith in God? One who has an unflinching faith in God will be able to live his life meaningfully and fulfill all the dreams. We all should do? Why we all should develop a positive attitude towards life. No one likes dull, disillusioned, depressing, dodged crybaby? No one. Okay. The poet also knows that he will meet his pilot when he will get a chance to see the Maker. Who is our Maker? Almighty God. He will get a chance to see the Maker face to face. And God has been guiding him through the ups and downs of downs in life. Finally, what does he wishes? The speaker wishes that he would be united to God, who is our pilot, who is steering our ship in which we sail, who will never allow us to perish even in the midst of shipwrecks. And there is no reason why our minds should be overwhelmed with fear and overcome with weariness. One more, we can say that theme we can take out if we combine both these themes, immortality of soul and unflinching faith in God. We can talk about one more theme as death and dying, as it is shown here in the by the speaker. It's the main theme of the, and we can say that this, as I told you earlier, that it's an elegy, or we can say that it's a meditative poem also. And why we are talking about death and dying theme, that the poet has drawn a parallel between a routine journey of daily life and journey into death. Okay, so what it is, a routine journey requires an individual to travel regularly from the safety of his home across a threshold and into the unknown. Okay. Similarly, the journey into death is beyond time and place into the unknown. Right? So, and what all the poet has said in the poem. Okay. So, that all can be included, and we can say that what is this poem is all about. It is all about accepting and embracing death rather than fearing the dark unknown. Okay. Now, see students, when we write our long answers, you can compare, you can see the similar thoughts of the same poet also, the other poets also, and those things are called as cross references. And Alfred Lord Tennyson has used the similar, somewhat the same images in other his poetries. I have tried to bring out some here. What he says, that you can see here on your screen. The bar is one of the several images of liminality in Tennyson's poetry. This bar, sandbar, he talks about. In one of his poem, Ulysses, name of the hero desires to sail beyond the sunset. Okay. And in another one of his poem, Tithonus, the main character finds himself at the quiet limit of the world, and at the end of the world, and regrets that he has asked to pass beyond the goal of ordinance. Now, the other important image in the poem is one of crossing. Okay, crossing word. What does it suggest? Suggesting Christian connotations. Crossing refers both to crossing over into the next world and to the act of crossing oneself in the classic Catholic gesture of religious faith and devotion. See, any of the inferences we can take. Okay, the religious significance of crossing was clearly familiar to Tennyson, for in an earlier poem of his, The Knights and Lords of Camelot, crossed themselves for fear when they saw the Lady of Shalott lying dead in her boat. Now, another one. The cross was also where Jesus died. Now, as Tennyson himself dies, he evokes the same image here again. So, does he hope to complement this metaphorical link with a spiritual one? He hopes that he will see his Pilate face to face. Now we can take a recap. Just take the recap of the poem. What all is there in it? An unspecified ship is ready to sail at sunset on a long voyage. Then, after one clear call, the ship will sail out of the harbor, across the sandbar at the harbor's entrance and into the sea. Next, the speaker wants the fullness of the tide so that he can sail out of the harbor without any turbulence and reach his destination. Then no morning of the bar. Then the sound of the evening bell signals the darkness and the scheduled sailing. Next point, the speaker hopes for a cheerful departure, one with no sadness of farewells. Yeah. His journey would lead him far beyond the limits of time and place, where he hopes to see the Pilate face to face after crossing the sandbar that separates the harbor from the sea. I hope you all must have understood the poem. Thank you.